Asmon literally lives in Texas, and he has to now delete half of his library if this is the case. It is what it is, dude.
There's a separation of powers. Yeah, exactly. The court has no say in this. Exactly. Yeah. And again,
that's what separation of powers means, that the president is separate from everybody else checking his power. Oh, why didn't I know that? Separation of powers just means that nobody can review the president's actions. They're separate. Oh.
I saw this Dexerto article, and I'm actually very excited for Asmongold to finally chime in about how censorship is unacceptable. Texas senators have unanimously passed a bill that, if signed into law, could make several games, anime, manga series illegal to own in the state. The bill bans any obscene depiction of a minor or someone who looks like one. And it's a very unique predicament because, like, I don't necessarily disagree with this decision, although I do understand how this will be used against everything. I want to know where my Asmon heads are at on this one. It's awesome.
Does he even do real? I'm gonna be honest. Obviously, I just watch clips and shit that you guys link or that show up on this Twitter account. So maybe he does actual politics that's just not getting clipped. But everything I feel like I'm seeing coming from this channel is like just slop politics. Like, I wonder what Asmongold thinks about Lolicon getting banned because that's underage anime porn. And he says he's free speech, and now they're gonna ban a lot. Like, do we do real politics on this channel ever? Did he ever, I guess? I mean, it wasn't always this bad, right? I'm not crazy.
I want to know where my Asmon heads are at on this one. It's awesome because Asmon literally lives in Texas, and he has to now delete half of his library if this is the case. It is what it is, dude. So what happens? What is his take? I'm sure he had to cover this.
He fought with Asmon the way he does with you, with drama only.
The unique intersection. It happened literally after I said, hey, Asmon, there will come a time when this administration will take away something that you like, that you hold near and dear to you, and I'll see how you feel about free speech then. And then literally a week later, they're like...
I mean, I'm being nitpicky, but I don't care. This administration... Well, hold on. It says Texas senators, not senators from Texas. So this is not the Trump administration. This is just Texas, right? But whatever.
A week later, it's like Texas senators have unanimously passed a bill. Barely watches anime. I know he looks the type. No, dude, it's not about anime. What are you talking about?
Oh no, he didn't get the joke. We're making a child porn joke, bro. It's about child porn. LOL, LOL, LOL.
It's not about anime. What are you talking about? It's video games as well. Asmongold's favorite content creator is literally a Loli content creator.
That's not a reference to me, is it? Is it a reference to some Twitter guy? I don't even know.
A child, like a child VTuber.
Oh.
His next video.
A child VTuber. Who? Rev or Rav? I don't know either of those names, and I don't want to, so...
Oh, I think I'm gonna post.
Do those guys make sexual content, or? Was half of Nazi Germany evil? Is there such a drastic difference between those who enable fascism and fascists? Yes. There's a difference in motivation, maybe not in outcome, but the motivation is important to understand so you can counter it. If you go to somebody who's not evil and you treat them like they're evil and you try to make them not evil, you're not going to be very effective. You have to make different arguments. It's literally a VTuber who only makes videos about DEI.
But I gotta post that. I saw.
Okay.
Dude is so fucking dumb, man. I hate the fascist propagandists, but he doesn't endorse that sexualized anime shit, which are the games in question, and stupidly swears that YouTuber isn't one. It will be used to paint you calling people pedos publicly who aren't, and
ban this guy.
Ready to shit you talk about dunks. What? Oh no, dude. Are you telling me that Asmongold fans are gonna yell at me?
Rev says Desu is anti-woke anime content slop. Okay.
Brother, he watches a fucking... Asmongold calls me a terrorist supporter every day.
Because you support terrorists by definition and by your own admission. You literally say you support entities that are U.S. designated terrorist organizations. Like that. Why would you compare these things? He calls me a terrorist supporter. As I say, I think Nasrallah is cool. I support the resistance, Hamas, and Hezbollah, and I support the Houthis doing awesome terrorist activities in the ocean. So it's the same thing as me calling him a pedophile.
The fuck are you talking about?
What?
He quite literally watches a Loli VTuber.
Also, that's so disingenuous. Unless I'm missing something and the Loli VTuber does lolicon or whatever. It might be, I don't know. Is the technical definition of loli just child? So it's not actual like anime child porn? But like there's obviously a difference between watching that and watching like anime child porn. But Hasan is trying to play fast and loose with the terms because he obviously is going for that.
He is an open Loli VTuber, the VTuber he watches. You know, it's a joke. I'm not being serious.
Base. Okay, there you go.
No, oh my God, I can't believe his fans are gonna fucking say I'm lying about Asmongold or whatever. Anyway, let's get Asmon tweet is so.
I think the argument is about the bill itself. It's super vague if you read it. Is it like actually going to pass, or is it like something stupid that like one dude submitted and... Oh, Texas senators have unanimously passed a bill that have signed into law. How does the Texas shit work? If the senators have passed it, does that mean that it's already passed the lower house and they're just waiting for the governor to sign it? So it's basically a done deal?
Problem? So this is the issue, right?
Wait, prediction. I think that Asmongold is actually going to be against this. He's going to say, I agree with what they're trying to do in principle, but the issue is it's written so broadly that in the name of protecting children, it's going to be used to go after other stuff. That's my prediction.
Problem? So this is the issue, right? Ideologically, I support this. Like, I don't like lolis. I don't like the underage like sexual depictions of underage characters, right? I don't like this. But the thing is that the reason why the real thing is like actual child sexual abuse material, the reason why it's illegal is because there's a victim of it, right? There's a victim of it, and that victim is then like, there becomes an ecosystem that encourages more victimization if that content is consumed and distributed, right? So the idea is that owning it and, you know, like creating it or putting it out there is...
Oh, no, right. Okay. You took it a step further and defends lolicon. Based.
Bad because it creates an ecosystem that causes real people to get hurt, right? And so based off of that logic, you can't apply that logic to anime because anime isn't real people. So I'm very, very torn on this. And I like...
Excuse me.
In a way, I wish that there was a way that you could do this, but I don't know if there is a way that you can do this without it being stupid.
Destiny, the VTuber, has defended Loli. He actively watches Loli. In this one case, Hasan isn't lying. You wouldn't ascribe every single belief the VTuber has to Asmongold, though, right? It is possible that Asmongold defends... I guess here he's kind of conceptually defending lolicon. But even that, I feel like it's a different connotation to saying that he like is a lolicon enjoyer. I feel like they're all different things.
I like... In a way, I wish that there was a way that you could do this, but I don't know if there is a way that you can do this without it being stupid. Does that make sense to me? Like, I don't like the idea of these characters, but I also... Here's another thing, too. We have so many problems in the country. Do I want my tax money going towards litigating people that like lollies?
Oh, they got to go towards getting these trans women out of these gyms, these women gyms.
No, I don't. I think that money could be spent on, like, 50 other things that are better, right? And so, like, And I know I'm going back and forth on this a lot because, as I said, I'm very torn about this. I mean, 100%.
r/Asmongold reacts to the Hasan tweet. Hasan is a lolcat at this point. Always was LeMayo. He's legit acting like a Reddit mod. He literally is an obsessive ex-girlfriend. Oh, no.
Problem? So this is the issue, right?
Bro, Hasan is getting it rough from Asmongold's whole community. The largest political streamer on Twitch, by the way. And from Ethan Klein, who is like pretty influential on the internet, which is spreading to other podcasts. Uh-oh. Do you agree with Asmon's take on this one? Yeah, I think for as gross as lolicon is or whatever the fuck, there's not like a victim. How the fuck are you going to ban drawing child fucking anime peoples? It's retarded. I think that's retarded. If you want to talk about a country that has strong freedom of speech or whatever, and you're like, that cartoon drawing, that's illegal. That's retarded. But listen, to each his own.
We're going to make this country safe again.
Asmon
I
slap.
wake up every morning loving my job.
Asking for the entire flight to be returned.
Your guess is as good as mine, Lawrence. You know, you got some radical judge who makes a decision.
That's a good question.
That just defies logic. I mean, who in the right mind, whether you're a judge or not, wants known public TDA, a recognized terrorist organization, sent here by the Maduro regime to create havoc.
Just sorry, real quick in chat. Where is the evidence that they were sent here by Maduro? What does he mean when they say that? Have they released any evidence of that, or is this just a wacky Trump claim?
To unsettle the United States through the use of fentanyl to kill thousands of Americans, violence to American citizens, raping and murdering young women in this country. They are enemies of this country, and President Trump treated them as enemies, and we did exactly what we should have done. Again, President Trump is going to make this country safe again. He's going to do it one illegal alien at a time. And this weekend, we did 261.
So Tom, what's next? Because
they got to get rid of more of them. I mean, there's a lot more than 200 of these people here. Yeah, they got to get rid of way more of them.
I'm getting a little worried about the manpower. These guys they have to be tired. You got 30 guys in the stack going on different busts every single day.
Honestly, I bet they probably have record recruitment numbers. Because I bet this is the way that a lot of people would want it to be. And I bet they have a ton of people signing up and that are super enthusiastic about doing this. Because, like, at least as, like...
The president's proclamation. Hold on. Oh, the president's invasion determination is not subject to judicial review under the political question doctrine. Isn't the political question doctrine just kind of like a Supreme Court meme where they're like, well, we try not to touch like heavily political issues? That's not like a law or anything, no? The proclamation courts to the requirements of the statute. TDA's actions constitute an invasion or predatory incursion given its intimate connection to Venezuela. TDA is a foreign nation or government for purposes of Section 21. What? Hold on. I'm just curious how the government supports these arguments. As to the first prerequisite, the president determined the TDA is perpetrating an invasion or predatory incursion in the U.S. Although the word invasion, of course, includes a military entry and occupation of a country, the accepted definition of that term is far broader. An invasion is an intrusion or unwelcome incursion of some kind, especially the hostile or forcible encroachment on another's rights, or the arrival somewhere of people or things who are not wanted there. What the fuck? Okay. Nor is there any requirement that the purposes of the incursion are to possess or hold territory. See U.S. v. Texas. Here are the actions of TDA. Fit accepted conceptions of what constitutes an invasion. TDA's illegal entry into and continued unlawful presence in the U.S. is an unwelcome intrusion that entails hostile acts contrary to the rights of U.S. citizens to be free from criminality and violence. In arguing that there's no invasion or predatory incursion, plaintiffs cherry-pick dictionary definitions, limiting those terms to military incursions meant to displace a government or conquer territory. But there is no reason to limit the textual language of Section 21 solely to acts meant to perpetrate active hostilities between two governments, and plaintiffs' own proffered definitions are incomplete. But it's literally the Aliens Act calls out foreign nations or governments, like literally, definitionally so. That's clearly and obviously what the intention is for. In fact, every full definition they offer supports the government's position. The full definition of invasion that plaintiffs rely on, for instance, includes a hostile entrance into the possession of another, a definition that encompasses what TDA is undertaking here. Okay, given its intimate connection to Venezuela, TDA is a foreign nation or government. The proclamation makes clear that TDA qualifies as a foreign nation or government for at least two independent reasons. To start, TDA's infiltration of key elements of the Venezuelan state make it indistinguishable from Venezuela. See proclamation. TDA's growth itself can be attributed to promotion of the actions of former governor of Aragua, Tarek al-Assami, who is later appointed vice president in the Maduro regime, and Maduro's connections to the group via the state-sponsored narco-terrorism enterprise Cartel de los Soles are also clear. The Cartel de los Soles coordinates with and relies on TDA to carry out its objective of using illegal narcotics as a weapon to flood the United States. See it. I wonder what the supplied stuff is here. Given how significantly TDA has become intertwined in the fabric of Venezuela's structures, it functions as a governing entity in Venezuela. That was a jump. Okay. Through those ties, TDA has become indistinguishable from the Venezuelan government, and the two may be folded together for purposes of invoking Section 21. Holy shit. Imagine if other like Arab states started to say the same about the US because of how many Jews are like in US government or whatever. And they're like, you guys are basically Israel. You're basically the Mossad. Although plaintiffs try to depict this invocation of the AEA as a novel, the United States has a long history of using war powers against formerly non-state actors. Historically, the U.S. has authorized use of force against slave traders, pirates, and Indian tribes. Okay, it is engaged militarily during broader armed conflicts with opponents who had no formal connection to the state enemy, including during the Mexican-American and Spanish-American Wars. Jesus Christ. President Wilson famously sent more than 7,000 U.S. troops into Mexico to pursue Pancho Villa, the leader of a band of rebels opposed to the recognized Mexican government. While more recently, President Clinton authorized missile strikes on al-Qaeda targets in Africa and elsewhere. But these don't involve the rights of like U.S. citizens and shit. Although I guess here they're just trying to argue for who can be depicted as an enemy who's of the United States or what a nation or state is. But the Aliens Act or whatever, I don't even think existed. Wait, when did this act come about? Alien... Fuck. When was this thing? Maybe this might be really old, I don't know. Is it the Alien and Seditions Act? Because if so, this was like right at the very beginning. Okay, never mind, this is old here. I feel like a stronger legal argument would be here then if they're listing things when that act existed. Have there ever been like U.S. citizens deported or green card or visa holders deported under this act? Because I feel like the biggest use of this act, didn't they call forth this act, and maybe they're intentionally not citing it, didn't they call forth this act for internment camps for Asian people? Or am I crazy there? But they might not want to bring that one up, so... In all events, TDA acts as a de facto government in the areas where it operates. That means that every single gang, essentially, could be declared a foreign invader or foreign government or foreign anything, no? As the proclamation recognizes, Venezuelan national and local authorities have ceded ever greater control over their territories to transnational criminal organizations, including TDA. Proclamation Preamble. In those areas where it operates, TDA is in fact acting as a criminal government, independent or in place of the normal civil society and government, given TDA's governance and organizational structure, as well as its de facto control over parts of Venezuela in which it operates with impunity as an effective governing authority unto itself. It is well within the discretion of the president to determine it constitutes a foreign government for purposes of invoking Section 21. Do you understand the problem too? Like when we go back to the deportation of people over the Hamas stuff, right? Well, imagine if you go to protest in support of the Venezuelan government, if you give the government, the executive branch, such wide discretion over who to declare as terrorists, like, I feel like you could get deported for basically fucking anything, right? Like, if they're saying that TDA is essentially one and the same as the Venezuelan government, is there an argument that the government could make that if you're protesting in favor of Venezuela or Maduro, could you be deported for supporting enemy terrorists? Like that, it seems like that argument is already made in here, you know? Somebody said something in my subreddit that's living in my mind rent-free. I kind of echoed it on Twitter. I'm not gonna be able to find the post. Maybe someone will remember it. Somebody posted, and I think one of the top comments were, it was like, these people will defend Gallows. And it's really true. It is very scary because regardless of what Trump will say today, we already know that they're defending way more than they ever said they would, even a year ago, right? How many people a year ago were saying, I don't think I would support pardons for all the J6ers. Like, the violent ones at least should be oh, they're all pardoned. Nope, it's fine. What about Hunter Biden? Joe Biden? Boom. Like, we already know that they're way past where they said they would be on almost every level. So the idea that if Gallows were to start, if like U.S. citizens were getting arrested for total bullshit reasons or whatever, like these guys would defend it. They would. That's a very uncomfortable feeling. I really think they would.
I'm 34, right? And this because like at least as like I'm 34, right? And so for my whole life, this has been like a frustration with a lot of people. Hard and dangerous job? Yeah, it is.
You're going to run out of money.
That argument cuts against Asmongold a lot, by the way. the frustration about like all the dangers of illegal immigration and everything else. Like I've heard my whole life that demographic change in the United States is going to make it so that the Republican Party is unviable. That demographic change in the United States is going to lead to records of illegals voting, and it's going to make it so Republicans can't hold any districts and blah, 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 blah. And there's going to be a threat to the structure. All these things were said. It was all bullshit, right? As now we see them screeching about how excited they are to have won the popular vote in 2024. I've heard for at least 10 years that was supposed to be impossible, that Mexicans and all these other brown darkies are going to come through and they're going to take over every fucking state and make it so Republicans can't win anywhere. Meanwhile, right, we see Miami go fucking 50% fucking Trumple, right? I don't know what the final votes on that. Those are the first ones that came in. But yeah, so what happened to that? Because right now the biggest threat to our system and our constitution and everything else, it seems to be those white evangelicals, you know? Really makes you think, huh? Okay, I'm answering this question for the 4 millionth fucking time. Not gonna lie, you ignored the Project 2025 shit when people are shouting about it, and it's the biggest part of this. They need the numbers to overrule any opposition, so they just got it every federal agency. It's literally gerrymandering of federal personnel. I never said that Project 2025 wasn't real or wasn't going to happen. That was never my statement on it. My statement on it was just I don't think Americans care about messaging on policy that much, which I think I still largely stand behind. Like, nobody gives a fuck about stuff like this, about the legal stuff. Nobody cares. Oh my God, I'm sorry. This is the worst thing I've seen in my life. This is where I read the Gallows comment. It's Rob Noor on Trump revoking Biden's pardons. The pardoning power rests solely with the president. Ask yourself this. If a president issued a pardon at 2 p.m. September 1st, and it was signed by him at 2 p.m., and we found out that he actually died at 1 p.m. on September 1st, would the pardon be legitimate? The answer would be no, because the power rests solely with the president. And it would be obvious he didn't sign this pardon as he was deceased. Now, what if the president wasn't cognitively capable of signing a pardon? What if he had no idea about it and his name was just auto-signed? And we found out that he actually died, and his name was just auto-signed. Would those pardons be legitimate? Just because unelected bureaucrats ran the entire Biden administration doesn't mean they also get pardoning power, right? So one of the big dangers, too, is we keep thinking like, oh my God, they're going to be hypocrites or they're going to change their opinion on things. They're not even really changing their opinions. It's just a new mental gymnastics, a new paradigm to incorporate the new information into something that doesn't make them hypocritical at all. Right? This should always be the fear, because they're going to say, well, we never violated our original principles. We're just changing the way that we view a particular action. Also, by the way, and I will fight back on this every time I see it. I don't give a fuck if it's unpopular or not. Fuck the electorate and fuck America. There is no proof, and there has never been any proof given that Joe Biden was cognitively incapable of serving as the president. Was he slow on debates? For sure. Was he bad speaking in the later part of his presidency? For sure. But the idea that there was ever a demonstration that he was cognitively incapable of functioning as president, that's never been offered. There's never been evidence of that whatsoever. If anything, I would argue that there is stronger evidence that Trump is not cognitively capable of deploying the job of the office of the presidency. And I think there's more evidence for that than Biden's shitty debate performance being evidence that he was incapable of acting as president. This is fucking bullshit. But don't ever give on that point. You can always say, what's your evidence? And if they say, oh, you're slow in a debate. Okay. Put me in front of any of you motherfuckers. You're slow in debates too. Are you cognitively incapable of being president? Like, it's bullshit. But regardless. Oh, yeah, but it was this comment. Hope you guys know these guys will defend the gallows in a few months. That's true, because if you were to ask Rob Noor now, would you support executing American citizens because of their political opinions? He'll say, well, no, of course not. That would be horrible, and I would never support it. And if Trump ever does that, then I'll be the first one to call it out. And then in 6 months, when Trump does exactly that, but Trump says he does it by labeling them as like domestic terrorists or foreign enemies, then people like Robert go, well, yeah, but this isn't the same thing as that. These guys are threats to the nation. And we actually have a rich history of executing people in this country who are doing things that are terrorists in the United States. Like if there was a Russian spy, you'd be okay with them being executed, right? Like it's going to be, it'll just switch immediately. Like there are no principles and no values. Like it's always going to be this. Are you chatting with that libertarian retard you fought with on Twitter a few days ago? Fabian? Yeah. Tonight at 8 o'clock, actually. This debate is going to suck, though. I already know it's going to suck. And I can already tell, because I've talked to this guy in the past, and it's always a waste of time. I can tell you exactly how the debate is going to go. He's going to come on, and I'm going to say, typically, when conservatives argue the First Amendment, they have a very broad application of this principle. They argue things like how social media platforms conduct bans can be an infringement on your First Amendment. Don't you think it's a little bit hypocritical that they would have such a narrow reading when it comes to like how you would deport a lawful permanent resident? And then he's going to say, I've pre-watched the whole debate, by the way. He's going to say, well, actually, we're not here to debate that. We're here to debate on whether or not deporting a visa holder is the exact same thing as attacking an American citizen for like a freedom of speech thing. And in that case, you're wrong, Destiny. These two things are not exactly the same. And that's the entire argument is going to be on that semantic distinction, by the way. Well, that's not semantic. It is a real distinction, but it's obviously it's not the meat of what my contention is with conservatives, but that's going to be the whole conversation tonight.
But if that's the game that Roberts is going to play, can you show me when Roberts excoriated the leader of the Democrats, Chuck Schumer? When, one, we had someone in an almost unprecedented manner leak the Dobbs decision, probably one of Roberts' clerks, which was already bad enough. And shucks, we weren't able to find out who leaked it.
That's totally disconnected from, or that's not, Roberts' issues with Schumer had to do with Schumer saying that you'll face a whirlwind or whatever, which admittedly was probably a comment that Schumer, I guess, shouldn't have made. But Republicans have done so much worse at this point, so I don't even know how you could even bring up the Schumer comments.
There's only like 20 potential people that could have, but shucks, we just can't find. Where's Roberts on that? And then once it's leaked, Chuck Schumer directly calls out Kavanaugh and says he will pay, he will reap the whirlwind.
Yeah.
Then Democrats ignore the obvious law that says you can't, for the purpose of intimidating jurors or judges, protest them outside their property. Black and white, the law. They say that's fine, leave all these people protest. Where was Roberts there? Why didn't Roberts speak up and say, holy shit, Chuck Schumer, you just inspired a mob to go after my fellow Supreme Court justices, and then there was an assassination attempt. Where was John Roberts there?
What is... Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Rob Noor was bringing up when Roberts also condemned Schumer, saying that like both sides do it. Did Rob Noor not know that Roberts did condemn Schumer? It was in the article. Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. I just assumed that he was referring to that. Rob Noor, are you ready to apologize to Chief Justice Roberts? The sad thing is, he definitely didn't even look up whether Roberts criticized Schumer, and you can bet his response to this will be some alleged double standard of me. Didn't even look it up. Ha 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 ha. Wow, guess I was wrong about that. I can admit when I got something wrong. Why didn't you look? Was at work in my phone. Why'd you assume he hadn't said anything about it? Did you not search before you said what you said? Don't remember him saying it. Okay, I don't know. I'm assuming building the big political media company is on the back burner for now. Have you thought about, even right now, just talking about what your plans might have been out loud in case someone else might take up the mantle? For me, for a media company related stuff, my biggest issue for it is, it's not necessarily off the table. My biggest issue is I just don't know who else I would find that I would like synergize with that shares my values. It's a very difficult thing to do. It seems really hard. And then I have to find people that do that and that are entertaining enough to like put on camera and like do shows on their own or whatever. That's just, it's a whole thing. And I have like other aspirations, I think, right now that are a little bit beyond that or were, so I'm not sure. I don't know. It's still something that I think about, but the political environment, I think, changed a lot over the past year-ish, given everything past this Trump election has been f***ing wild. Holy shit.
It doesn't look like you're getting support from the Democrats on this. You're going against the judges now. Mm-hmm. You're getting support from the Democrats on this. You're going against the judges now. Mm-hmm. What's next?
Another flight. Another flight every day.
Another one.
Flight.
Based, epic.
Oh, jeez.
Ignoring the justices, or ignoring the
What's
courts.
Next? Another one. Oh, God. Yep, I guess so, right?
The teams are going to be out there every day.
Yeah.
Every day, the men and women of ICE are going to be in the neighborhoods of this nation arresting criminal, illegal alien, public state threats, and national security threats. Lawrence, you're not going to stop us. We made a promise to the American people. The President Trump has made a promise to the American people. We're going to make this country safe again. I wake up every morning loving my job because I work for the greatest president in the history of my life, and we're going to make this country safe again. I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
Jesus I just Christ. Love seeing you going through these protesters just crunching on the apple as their liberal tears just flood the hallway. Tom Holman, thanks so much for joining the program.
I'm Steve Ducey.
Man, I'm Brian. That's nuts. I agree, but unfortunately, good, hardworking non-citizens who have been here for decades will also get deported. Well, they should have tried to become citizens rather than just coming over here illegally. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? I mean, like, yeah, I'm sure, like, and...
Wait, what? Did you just say it's very simple to become a U.S. citizen, especially coming from South America?
Well, they should have tried to become citizens rather than just coming over here illegally. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? I mean, like, yeah, I'm sure, like, and there's a spectrum, right? Like, those people, like, realistically, I'm going to be honest, okay? And I think that we can all be honest about this. They're probably never going to get to all of them. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. Now, should they? Yeah, they should. But realistically, they're probably not. Like, it's just, like, at a certain point, the payoff for it decreases, and it's not worth doing. Some will slip through the cracks. Yeah, sure, exactly. And absolutely, imagine how fast ICE would be funded if they took public donations. Yeah, probably, right? And what's this here? Green card holders are considered permanent residents and are here illegally. Well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about something else. But yeah, and was here.
Wait, what do you mean we're talking? Weren't some of those Venezuelans that deported, weren't some of them green card holders? Or do we not even know because they haven't checked? Which is maybe even worse. Wouldn't Ryan say the purpose is to establish a pattern of behavior? Well, I guess. So stay away from me if you're a girl and you're afraid of me bullying you online, or...
Actually smiling, maybe a little bit, right?
Watch out.
White ethics is just emotional manipulation. I don't know if you know this, but like your link is just being deleted repeatedly. So every time that you post a link into my chat, it gets immediately deleted.
Damn.
And I'll ban you because you're just not listening. Like one of the only...
Wait, don't they just have auto link muting in Twitch chat? Is not a thing, or... Rob Noah is way too strong a name for a pair of high-pitched jowls perched on top of a pair of man mammaries. You know what? Somebody said this in chat, and I will give Rob credit for this. Rob doesn't bass boost the fuck out of his voice like every fucking streamer apparently does now, so props to Rob for that.
Rules in chat is to not spam, and you just keep typing the same thing to look at a video. That's
true.
Spam.
Sorry.
And you just keep typing the same thing to look at a video. It's annoying behavior, and I understand that you might want me to watch it and you think it's important, but the reality is that if I did that with every video, it would be extremely fucking annoying. Like, so yeah, you can type it a couple of times, but after that, that's enough. And so yeah, a lot of people just don't really get that. But yeah, I think this is what's going to happen. Judges.
Do you hate Rob now? Yes, ever since our fucking debate. Bro, that shit would be held against me forever. If I got caught pretending that I'd read something, especially when people call me the Wikipedia warrior. If I got caught pretending that I read something and then it shows up that I'm just like copy pasting from an AI, yeah, what the fuck?
Going against Constitution be jailed too? Yeah, maybe, right? And so they're gonna, not only are they not gonna do it, but they're gonna impeach the judge as well. That's pretty fucking extreme, I'll tell you that. I mean, to say the least, right? Find it wild how many kids join the military to help their parents gain citizenship. Hope they don't start ousting the parents while the kids enlisting. I don't know about that. Really depends. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see here. When the executive branch does not respect the rule of the court, we've crossed into a serious Rubicon.
True.
Well, the argument is that the court doesn't have jurisdiction to make a rule in this case to begin.
Who decides that, though? Why would you say the argument is? That's not a real argument. You understand that's not a real argument, right? That's just a dictator. We've got a serious problem when the president thinks he's above the law. Well, no, you see, actually, that's the issue, is there's a significant disagreement on whether or not the president is above the law. Like,
with, right? So that's not really what's being discussed, and there's a lot of interplay and complexity to it, right?
No.
Obviously, there's a separation of powers. Yeah, exactly. The court has no say in this. Exactly. Yeah, and again,
separation of powers means that the president is separate from everybody else checking his power. Oh, why didn't I know that? Separation of powers just means that nobody can review the president's actions. They're separate. Oh.
Can decide and figure that out whether it's true or not.
Do you think impeaching the judge is an abuse of power? I think that if there's evidence and proof that a judge is exercising their position in a political way, rather than in
a political way? Political? What the fuck does that mean? Everything is political. What does that mean? In a political way?
accordance of the law, and then weaponizing their position in order to use it towards a political goal, then I think that they should be impeached. Absolutely. Because judges are supposed to be impartial, and they're not supposed to make decisions based off of, the way that they feel about things or anything like that. So impeach bad judges. Yeah, exactly. You should absolutely impeach bad judges. And there are a lot of bad judges. I think a great example of that is racist judges. Like, this is a big problem we used to have. We probably still have this problem to an extent, but it's been nerfed, right, in the last 50 years. So, like, think about how many racist judges there were in the 1970s. Probably hundreds, if not thousands of them, right? So you clearly should get rid of those people if they're proven to be showing a bias towards treating people differently based off of skin color. So if you have, and I view this to be relatively the same thing, because it's basically, fundamentally, you're using a secondary reason to dispense justice. You're not looking at it from the objective rule of the law. You're deciding ahead of time and then making the law work backwards to justify your decision.